afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the pre-fight press conference for UFC Sweden. As you all know, this is our first event here in Sweden, in Stockholm. It's been a long time coming. I remember it's probably been close to 4 or 5 years ago when we first started coming to Sweden. We knew we had a big market here. We began speaking with the representatives from the Swedish MMA Federation. And so from that journey until now, this is the culmination of a lot of hard work and a lot of energy. I would like to introduce somebody to you, say a few words from the Swedish MMA Federation. George Salfeld is the president of the Swedish MMA Federation. It's someone we've worked very closely with. Their group actually will be overseeing and regulating the event on Saturday. So if you'll please join me in welcoming George Salfeld.
Thank you, Marshall. Just a few quick words. Obviously, we're very happy to have the UFC here. This is the largest MMA event that we've seen in Sweden. And the growth of MMA in Sweden has been quite exponential over the last 5, 6, 7 years. And I won't keep you. I know you want to talk to these guys, and that's why we're here. But again, welcome to Stockholm, and I hope to see you here many more times.
A couple other items before we get to the fighters here. There was an announcement made earlier today here in Sweden regarding the creation of an international MMA federation. August Wallen, who is here, who is a representative from the federation. August, if you'd stand up, please, just so people can see you. He's in the back of the room there. August will be available for questioning if anyone has any questions for him. The UFC is behind and supports the work that August and his team is doing on the federation. We are excited to be aligned with them in terms of their vision for what MMA can be in the world. And as I mentioned, August will be available for questions. It's a pretty significant moment, we believe, in the growth of this sport. A couple of housekeeping items for the event on Saturday. The doors for the arena will open at 5:45. The first fight will begin at 6:30. This event, as many of you know, sold out within 3 hours of its public on sale. It's completely sold out. There are no tickets left. We can't be any happier with the success of the event. Some broadcast information. In the U.S., the event will be broadcast on Fuel TV. Here in Sweden, it'll be available on Canal Plus Sport 2. Also, for non-Canal Plus subscribers, there will be a pay-per-view opportunity for you. It will be 129 krona. Prelims for the fight will be available on Facebook. And without any further ado, let's get to the fighters. We're going to open this up to questioning in short order. Just so you're aware, Alexander Gustafsson, who fights from Sweden, trains here in Stockholm, is the light heavyweight. A lot of interest in him. He's on a 4-fight win streak. He'll be fighting Thiago Silva here to my left. Brian Stan and Alessio Sakara are also facing off in a middleweight battle. And then we have 2 Swedish fighters here. We have Reza Madadi, and to my left is Magnus Sedenblad, who are available for questions. One other thing, this fight card is a truly international card. We have 8 different countries represented here, including from this region. We've got Sweden, Germany, and Norway represented in the fight card. So without further ado, we'll open it up to questions. Please make sure you get a microphone. There is a microphone available for you.
If I could start with Alexander, please. Alex, obviously I know this has got to be a real thrill and a real honor for you, but obviously being in a main event, especially in your hometown, comes with a lot of responsibilities as well. I'm curious how all the added media attention, all the added responsibilities has affected your training and your focus and your preparation on this fight.
You know, I just enjoying every second to be in the spotlight, so it's all good. I've been 100% focused on my training, so that's where my head is. So it's just been great. You know, I'm super excited, and I just love to do what I do here. So it's all good.
And I'm curious. I know the Swedish people have obviously been following your career, but being from the States, I don't know, is this typical amount of attention for when you fight, or is this increased for you?
No, it's been increased for me, absolutely. You know, it's a little bit new for me, but you know, I'm enjoying it. So.
Thank you. If I could go to Thiago, please. Thiago, obviously you fought a couple of former champions. You've been in there with the best. When you look at Alexander, some people say he may be a future champion. Do you see his skills as that great? How does he compare to those fighters that you've fought before?
I think Alexander is a tough guy, you know what I mean? But I'm not here to decide nothing, you know. It's really hard to talk about it. You know, I'm here just to fight and do my job, you know. That's it.
Absolutely, and obviously we haven't seen you in quite some time. Without giving away game plan, that sort of thing, what should we expect to see differently? Is there anything new about Thiago Silva, or is this the same guy that we've seen before?
Yeah, there's something different, you know. Right now I'm much more better, you know. I don't have my back problem anymore, you know. I'm 100% healthy, and what I can say, I'm here to fight hard, you know. As always I do. I'm gonna fight hard.
First question for Brian Stan. Brian, you're sort of a no-nonsense fighter. You're somebody who goes in there, gets the job done. It doesn't seem to matter where you're fighting. What's your personal opinion on fighting outside the United States, and what's your opinion on fighting in Stockholm?
Well, you know, to be honest, it's an honor. How many opportunities would I have, would my wife have, to see Stockholm and be in Sweden? And because of mixed martial arts, the UFC and fighting, I get this opportunity. I love it. I don't think, I mean, it's only a 15-minute fist fight, so the time change, you know, the weight cut, all those things only affect you if you let them affect you and you let them get in your head. I'm real proud to be here. I've got a great opponent, and I'm excited. The Swedish fans have been fantastic all week.
What do you expect from Alessio?
Well, I think we both know what to expect. You know, he's been in the UFC since right after I graduated college. So he's a true veteran in the sport. He helped pave the way for a lot of the European fighters to showcase how much skill is over here. So I expect him to come out, fight very hard. I expect him to showcase all the skills that he has, and I expect ours to be one of the best fights of the night.
And conversely for Alessio, you've had a couple, or you've tried to have a couple of fights in Europe so far. What do you look forward to when fighting Bryant Stan on Saturday?
Sorry for my English. It's not very good, but okay. Yes, I'm very happy fight with Bryant Stan because I fight a lot tough guy, but he very tough. And I'm training a lot for this fight. And I think now I have more power. And very, very, very happy because I love the fighter when a fighter is striker. He stay in the middle and bing, bong, bang. I'm very happy.
If I could follow up with Brian, please. Brian, I mean, this seems to be stylistically a perfect matchup for you, you know, the kind of fight that you would enjoy. Is this a fun fight for you, or do you still look at him as a dangerous opponent, things you have to worry about, you know, train hard for? Is it just kind of, let's go out there and have a good time?
Oh, no, it's never just go out there and have a good time. It's always all business. You know, I only fight the best guys now. Everybody I fight is a tough fight. There's no more where I get a guy, it's his first time in the UFC. I'm getting experienced, great fighters who actually have been doing this a lot longer than me. So I have a good time no matter what. I mean, I do this because I love it. I don't do this because, you know, because I absolutely have to. This is what I enjoy doing. And, you know, this is a great fight. I love the style matchup. It's always nice when you don't have to have the extra added pressure of making a fight exciting, when you have someone who's so dominant in the wrestling department that they can really neutralize your ability to make an aesthetically pleasing fight. So it's a lot more fun to fight a guy like Alessio who likes to come out there and he likes to put on that good show for the fans.
And if I could ask you also, could you compare his striking to, say, Santiago, Lieben, guys that you've had, you know, stand-up battles with? Where does his striking rank up to those guys? Well,
I think his striking is better. You know, Santiago's a good striker with good power. You know, Chris Lieben's he's a very awkward striker. You know, he throws from angles that you'd never expect. He's a little bit more difficult to train with, and obviously he's got big power. But you know, I think Alessio has a much more diverse striking game. He's much more experienced, and I think the biggest thing I notice is his hand speed. I think he's got the best hand speed in the middleweight division.
Thank you very much. And if I could ask Alessio, please. Alessio, obviously the UFC first time here in Sweden. talk about going to Italy. What is the MMA scene like in Italy right now? Is it growing? Is it ready for UFC? What's it like over there?
The UFC now in Italy is very popular event. Every people is happy because every time I fight in USA, every people I need to wake up, and Italian people are like asleep, and 4 o'clock is very bad for me. But now I fight at 10 o'clock. Every people have pizza and see me in television. I'm very happy, and yes, I'm very happy because fight close to my country.
And I imagine if the UFC does go to Italy, or when it does, you're going to want to be there.
When UFC come to Italy, is my dream. Well, is my dream, really.
What have you told the UFC? Have you let them know that? Have you made it clear that that's what you want to do? Have you talked to Dana or Marshall or whoever?
Every people know UFC come next year, and I don't know if come in Milan to Rome, but if come in my country, I'm happy because I'm Italian. I'm not solo legionnaire Roman. I'm Italian. And I love, I normal, every people love the country, I love my country too. And the UFC come to Italy for me is wonderful. I need to talk, sorry, because I training Hey Aliupa. Okay, perfect.
Marcus Corval with MMA Notes. First question is for Reza Madadi. This is your hometown and you, over here mate. You enjoy the spotlight and you're always very aggressive, very confident when you come in. This is a lot bigger of a production. Any pre-fight jitters yet?
First of all, hey everybody. And I enjoy so much, I don't know what can I say, the dream came true. And yes, it's my debut and my hometown, Stockholm. Finally, UFC is here and it's wonderful for me and all Swedish fans. So I'm gonna go inside and just do my job, have fun, do what I love to do.
And for Magnus Cedenblad, first of all, happy belated birthday. You just had your birthday, right? Did you get to eat any cake? It doesn't look like it.
No, I got some carrots.
It's been a lot of talk about your opponent's corner, man, almost more than your opponent, he's got GSP in his corner. Is that anything that you pay attention to at all?
Really, no, not at all. You know, I don't care who's in his corner. I hope it's not he who's gonna fight. So, as long as he stays outside the cage, it's gonna be good.
Also, you were featured in a short documentary on TV4 in Sweden, which was somewhat portrayed as mixed martial arts being negative. You didn't get a chance to speak to the so-called expert on the subject. If you had a chance to speak to those naysayers, what would you say to them?
No, but I think it's just, you know, we make this, it's our choice to be here, and we do it because we like it. So I think, you know, it's up to us if we want to fight or not. So, yeah, I'm not an expert on those areas, or I'm not a doctor, so I don't know especially what to say about it. But, yeah, this is what we're allowed to do, and, yeah, we're going to do it.
Unless I was going to ask you in Spanish, but your English is perfect, so we don't have to. You see this production coming to Sweden for the very first time, and you mentioned in a previous interview that you would love to be the main event at an Italian show. How far away do you see that being from happening, being realistic? ¿Cuánto tiempo hasta crees que pueden tener una producción como esta en Italia?
Is not for me, I don't know. But the Italy now is everything good. I have a lot of fans. Depends the schedule the UFC. I think so in maybe 1 year, but I have a lot of fans for UFC, for big event.
And for Alexander, you've been on many main cards, and you're the most experienced, especially Swedish fighter, being here. Any difference being on the main card to becoming the main event when it comes to media and so on?
Oh yeah, it is. It is. It's a big difference.
A question for Alex Gustafsson, first of all. Alex, there's a lot of talk about, because of the success in your last 3 or 4 fights, that you're moving inexorably towards a title fight with John Jones. And yet your coach, Eric Del Fiera, says he doesn't want you to rush too quickly. Obviously, Thiago is a big step up in class in many ways from some previous opponents. And it will prove something if you beat him. How soon would you like to fight John Jones and get that light heavyweight belt around your waist?
You know, I don't know. Like, I can't really answer that. For me, the only thing that's on my mind right now is this fight and Thiago Silva. Nothing else. You know, it's a great opponent, and it's the biggest test in my career so far. So, you know, I'm 100% focused on this fight now. And you know, when that day comes, when I get the chance to fight for a title, I will be more than ready. But right now, it's just this fight.
Thank you. And for Thiago, given that Alex is being spoken of in these terms by a lot of people, that he is definitely a contender for the light heavyweight title, in a sense, because you've been away and you served your ban, is this a great event for you to get back? You're main eventing, he's a contender. John Jones has wiped out a few guys while you've been away. Are you looking at John Jones yourself and thinking, I win this fight convincingly and I'm in the frame?
No, of course, this show is a great opportunity to come back. You know, I haven't fought for 1 year, and I'm so grateful, you know, for be back and on the main event. You know, of course, and I'm here to do my job. I want to fight the best fighters, and I wanted to be a champion one day. You know, it's really hard to say I want to fight this or that guy. I just want to fight the best fighters, you know, and prove myself.
A question for Alessio. I'll do it in English. I'll do it in Spanish as well for you. You had kind of well-documented problems moving from light heavyweight to middleweight with the weight cuts, and obviously had the knee surgery as well, which was a big problem for you to get over. But I understand that part of the help for you in terms of your conditioning and making the weight has been training with a specialist who's involved with the Italian rugby team. Quería decir que habías tenido unos problemas en mantener el peso de like heavyweight a middleweight, y estabas entrenando con un coach en el deporte de rugby que te ha ayudado mucho, ¿no?
Yes. Before I have a big problem because I know Italian people, the food is very problem. And for cut the weight, problem. But in my life, every time open the big guy close to me, and this coach for rugby, Lazio rugby, in the selection rugby, he's helping me very, very much because I have a big problem in my knee. I have surgery 6 months ago, and he start for recovery very quickly my leg and my diet. Now very happy because now more athletic, yes, and not think only in the food. Okay, no more food. 185. Yeah.
So no pizza, no pasta, no?
Next fight, Saturday night. Saturday night, pasta. Now no.
Finally, one question for Marshall Zalaznik. Marshall, you mentioned just now that the UFC is happy to align with this World Mixed Martial Arts Federation that's been announced this morning. How do you see that alignment, and how, obviously it's just launched, how in your mind do you see the relationship between the UFC and that federation?
Well, as many of you here probably know, but some people, certainly in the U.S., may not understand, is that in the U.S. you have governments that regulate sport. You have the state governments, and there are other parts of the world that the government gets involved. But in many more parts of the world, you actually have these independent federations that are set up as nonprofit corporations or nonprofit bodies that actually start to manage the sport. And in places throughout Europe and in Asia, where you don't have government oversight, these federations are very important. And so when you see a group that develops a federation like they've done here, an international federation, for us, what we see is a well-intentioned, meaning group that is going out with a vision to organize, if you will, and benefit the entire sport the way a government might do it around the world. So for us, We're hoping just to put a little wind in the sails of the International Federation so that they can go out and create this vision that they have as it relates to not only the amateur space, but also the development into a professional federation or oversight of professional MMA.
Marshall, just to touch on that then, so the Federation will encourage countries like the United Kingdom, like other parts of Europe, France, Italy, to set up governing bodies that will regulate both amateur and professional mixed martial arts.
Right. I believe when you ask that same question to August, I believe that's what you're here. I think what they're looking for is finding other groups with similar interests and similar motives who can create these individual country federations who will, in essence, sit under the umbrella of this international federation and work towards achieving those same goals to organize the sport in places where there is no government.
Thank you. Just to bring it back to Saturday night, can I just ask Alex to explain his fight camp and how it's worked now? Have you done any work with the guys at Alliance? Have you been in Las Vegas? Because I know all those guys are focusing on tough right now, so have you been in Vegas or have you been just in Stockholm for this preparation?
Yeah, I start my camp here in Stockholm, and then I went to Vegas to train there with the Alliance guys, and I was there for 3 weeks, and then I went back to Sweden and I was training here for now 3 weeks, and yeah.
So come Saturday night, it'll just be your Swedish coaches that are going to be working the corner, or is anybody coming over from Alliance?
No, I got my head coach Andreas Michael here, and I got my coach Eric Delfero here from Alliance. You know, it's you know, I'm a part of the team, and you know, I've been training with top level guys, so I'm more than ready.
Thank you.
This question is for you, Marshall, as well. It's in Sweden. It's a little bit contradiction. You have, like you mentioned, 3 hours selling out the tickets, and you have some really hardcore fans, dedicated fans, and then you have the other side of the naysayers. And it's, you know, it was only a few years ago that professional boxing was banned over here. So there's a big gap between the two sides, so to speak. What do you guys, or have you done in order to close the gap between the two sides?
Well, I think part of the initiative we do in any new territory or really any country where we're entering is we embark on trying to educate the media first, and we take meetings with the key representatives within media authorities, within the political bodies, so that we can educate them about what the sport is. You know, when you think about what mixed martial arts is, it's just, as we all know in this room, it's an amalgamation of these sports, many of which are included within the Olympic Games. And for whatever reason, when people start to imagine these sports coming together, they go a little haywire. They can't quite understand why all of a sudden you know, it's no longer a sport, which makes us a little perplexed. So what we're always trying to do is get people to understand that these are real athletes who train hard, who deserve every consideration to do what they want to do. And ultimately, they put together a form of fighting which is, as I mentioned, a mix of all of these martial arts, which nobody with any of these naysayers would have a problem with judo in the Olympics or wrestling in the Olympics. And these guys just happen to be doing it all together.
And for Thiago and Alessio, you guys are both representing ATT. There's 4 fighters on this card that are from ATT. First of all, it's to both of you. First of all, what is it about ATT that makes a team and the fighters bring the level up so high to the point where you can have 4 guys on a card? And second of all, do you see it as an advantage having your teammates here, or does it take away from your own training with your coaches? ¿Qué hacen en ATT? ¿Por qué es tan bueno el equipo que tienen 4 peleadores acá? ¿Y también le ayudan que están sus amigos del equipo de aquí también? ¿O le dan menos tiempo con sus entrenadores?
You know, I think I have a great team, you know, behind me, behind us. You know, they give to us all the support. You know, we are very confident, and for sure, it's always very good. You know, we have a lot of fighters on the same card because we keep together. You know, we are a team. We need each other. You know, we gotta help each other. I think it's great. You know, I'm so happy because of this.
The ATT is a very big team. I'm very happy when I come to, before the fight, 2-3 months before the fight, I'm training in America top team. I have a lot of fighter, tough fighter. Me and Thiago the first sparring together. And one spar is no spar is fight. And very happy, very, very happy. Because you possible improve more in you fight. And it's normal. I have 4 people, the America top team, and this is card. Every people is more strong because it's family.
And for the Swedish fighters, you don't all train together, but you all know each other, and there's some close bonds between you guys. Have you gotten together to talk about the magnitude of this event? And Alex, you obviously been here before. Have you given any words of wisdom to the guys at all?
No, we know each other very good, and we have been training together a few times, and we are very tight, all friends. So, but we have different camps. We've been talking a little bit about the fight and so on, but we all are ready, and we're gonna show that we belong in the UFC on Saturday.
Reza, Magnus, anything?
No, it's the same. We are good friends, and me and Reza train at the same place, but yeah, it's all good, and Alex been here a long time, and he made a lot for us, he was first Swedish fighter who got up there, so now we're just gonna follow him.
Magnus, don't lie, I don't know you, and I don't, no, just joking. We train the same club, and I have a good team. I have very good opportunity for train here in Stockholm, and a lot of good coaches, stand up, grand, and my grand game, wrestling. So me and Magnus, and I don't have an honor to train with Alex, but we train good here in Stockholm.
Right here. Hi, Thiago, this question is for you. First and foremost, yesterday after our interview, you've been getting a lot of credit for learning English, so congratulations on that. Everybody's very happy for you. And the next question that comes, though, is how big is this guy? Everybody talks about how giant you seem, basically, and how much weight do you cut? So I'm just curious what you're walking around at right now and what your usual cut is to get down for fight weight.
You talking about me?
Yeah.
I'm not too I'm not too big, right now I'm just 3 pounds over, and the truth is I have been training hard, all over the year. I just learned how works my body, better, to keep myself in shape, to be healthy. Right now I'm working with Synergy Pro Nutrition, those guys take care of my body. They take care of my food, so I have more control. I can how can I say, I can keep my body in shape always, I don't have to worry about anymore and to cut too much weight, I'm stronger, I'm faster, and I'm healthy,
Okay, great. And secondly, Brian, this is for you. Certainly, boxing's going to be a big part of the fight on Saturday. You're known for having a granite chin, basically. I'm just curious whether you think that's something a fighter can develop, or is that just a gift that you're naturally born with?
That's a gift that you're naturally born with. You can't really develop a chin. In fact, I think the harder you work to have a better chin, you're going to degrade it. So I think one of the most important things I've noticed over the last few years is in training, I think too many fighters actually leave their chin in the gym. And they spar so hard in the gym, and then they wonder why they get knocked out in the fight. Your head can only take so many headshots. We're starting to learn a lot more about concussions, and we are elite level athletes, and we're paying attention to all of those things, in our own training. But as far as my chin, as you can tell from, my head and my jaw, it's
I'm right there with you.
Just happened to be born with it, and I used to tease fighters when I first started training, and I wasn't very good. I always used to tell them, well, I could still beat you, and they'd ask me how. I'd say, well, just break your hands off my face. So I've learned a little bit more foot movement and angles since then, though, thankfully.
Great, thank you.
I've got a question for Alex. I've heard a rumor that Forrest Griffin is saying that you beat all your sparring partners up in Vegas. That nobody wanted to fight with you.
Me and Forrest was sparring a few times in Vegas, but I don't know. We kicked each other's asses, so.
Who won, you or him?
No, that's a good question too. I will not answer that here.
Okay. Question for Alessio. ¿Qué exactamente es Bing Bang Bong?
Bing, bang, boom, stay in the middle, bing, bang, boom.
Okay, thank you.
In the box. Punch.
Question for Reza. For the local Swedish media, we've been talking to you for years, and every time we ask you about your goals and dreams, it's always been the same thing, to be in the UFC. Now that Saturday night comes, and you've been signed to the UFC, do you have to reset goals for yourself, just so you're not content going into the bout and just showing up?
Finally, you asked me a question, Ryan. Like I told you guys, for 7 years ago, a friend of mine asked me, Reza, what is your biggest dream? Like you can buy it. And I told him, I want to buy some tickets, go to Las Vegas and show the UFC event, UFC fight. And still I cannot believe I'm sitting here besides a lot of stars, and I'm gonna fight Saturday night. So what I tell you guys, you should expect on Saturday night. When they close the cage, you're gonna see bing, bang, boom. Was right? Yeah, that's way.
Great. And I think you're known for being an amazing fighter, and also pound for pound, I think some of the best ring entrances we've seen. Can you give us any idea on if you have any special plans in store for the crowd?
No, I keep it for Saturday night.
Okay.
But maybe I invite my cousin, they want to dance, Bali dance or something. No, we're waiting for Saturday night.
Okay.
Must be super.
Question for Magnus. I think you're one of the fighters locally here that has gone to the U.S. on several trips and made it part of your camp, in addition to training locally here at Pancras. I'm wondering if that experience kind of helps you training with several UFC fighters has kind of helped you get prepared for this mentally, and what influence that training has had abroad.
Yeah, of course, it's helped me a lot. You know, I've been to the States a couple of times and trained with some of the best fighters in the UFC, and I can hang with those, so I don't think it's going to be any problem on Saturday night. I've been there, so it's good.
Last question for Alex. Yesterday we spoke a little bit, and you mentioned that this may be a short fight. You didn't give me any indication of how it would end or if you would be the victor. Why do you think this could be a short fight? Does that have something to do with the way that Thiago comes in the fight?
Yeah, you know, Thiago's a tough guy, and he goes in for the kill. So you know, I have to be prepared. So it's gonna be a great fight for the fans. You know, it's gonna be an awesome fight. I can't wait.
All right, just give us a second here. We'll move the podium. We'll get the fighters squared off, and you can take some photos here in a minute. Give us a moment. All right, hang on. Let me get the two straight together. Don't square off. Just come over here and space them. You guys just push that way a little bit. Just take a picture.
I don't want a secret. Thank you.
Let me have Bryant first. Let's see. You guys have done this before. Why don't you face off with each other? Thanks, guys. You guys. Square up. Square up, Jeff. Square up. All right, thanks everybody for coming.